In this week's Torah reading, Vayera, we read a story of the overturning and the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Amorah, and how Lot, Abraham's brother-in-law, was saved because of his inviting guest. He was a brother-in-law of Abraham. He ended up in Sodom and Amorah, and the angels came to rescue him, and he invited them in, and because of that, he was saved from the whole city, from the whole 5 cities around that area. In the story, we find that day, Lot became a judge in Sodom and Amorah. He had made it in Sodom and Amorah. He had 4 children, 4 daughters. 2 of them were married to people in Sodom and Amorah. 2 of them were betrothed. And when it came to time to save them, the angel said, "Go get your sons-in-law, and we'll save them and rescue them as well." When it came out to tell his sons-in-law to come because of the destruction of Sodom, they mocked him. He was a jokester. They didn't believe him that Sodom and Amorah are now going to be turned over. And when he had a guest with him and he invited them, people came from the whole city around to destroy his house, to kill his guest. And he came out to them and spoke to them, "My brothers, don't do this. You know, this is a beautiful place. I've come to live here." And he pleaded and begged with them. The end was, he was pulled out, and all his connections to Sodom and Amorah were destroyed. Sodom and Amorah itself were destroyed. How did this happen? Lot spent so much time making these relationships, becoming part of society. And then at last moment, before, when he comes and he speaks to the people say, "Ha'echad ba lagor, vayishpot shafot." You are a sojourner amongst us. You became a judge over us. Who do you think you are? My friends, unfortunately, we are seeing this in the streets of Europe, the streets of the United States, and around the world. We as Jews have felt that we are secure. We've been accepted in society. We become leaders in all these movements of change and goodness and caring for the people, caring for the underdog, caring for those less fortunate. And all of a sudden, when we were attacked in our Holy Land, the most vicious attack and Nazi barbarism that we saw, and here is all these things that we spoke about, the underdog, human life, caring for people, goodness and kindness, and all of a sudden they say, all these don't apply to you. You don't deserve to exist. We're not going to condemn it. We're going to actually support it. May they continue doing this, God forbid. What happened? This is not the first time this happened. My friends, we've been here for 4,000 years. Many nations tried to destroy us. But thank God we're still here. What's that thing that keeps us going? What's the secret to the Jewish survival? The secret to the Jewish survival is being true to our mission and our purpose. To change the world with doing good deeds of Torah and mitzvot. Studying Torah, doing more mitzvot, and being more Jewish. Every time we deviate and try to change our mindset based on what is good these days and what is popular these days, and we become part of society, we soon find out that we're not really part of society. In March of 1972, the ambassador to the UN, Yitzhak Rabin, came to visit the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And they had a long discussion with the Rebbe, and it came to a point the Rebbe asked him if he feels lonely at the UN. Of course, Israel was lonely in the UN. And the Rebbe discussed with him the verse from the prophecy of Bilam. And Bilam sees the Jewish people and he says, "Hen am levadad yishkon," a nation that dwells alone. And they were discussing it. Is it a curse or a blessing? Is it something that we should be proud of, or something that unfortunately is forced upon us? And the Rebbe says, while the nations force it upon us, for us we also should know, ultimately we are alone. Ultimately, we have our mission and we cannot be part of society as they would like us to be. We have to be strong with our ideals of being more Jewish, our ideals of kindness and goodness and study and education, but connected to Judaism. Our deepest part of our soul, our neshama, is yearning. And now it's been exposed and opened up. Now is a time to really be there for our fellow Jews, to really stand strong as Jews, and not to rely on the nations that they're going to accept us. We find this opposite of Lot with Abraham. Abraham also was alone in a sense, and he stood for his ideals of monotheism, of goodness and kindness. He didn't try to mix in with the nations around. And when it came, next week we read about the passing of Sarah, and when it came for him to bury Sarah, the people of his people, where he lived, the Chet people, told him, Nisi Elokim ata betochenu. You are a prince of God among us. Abraham stood strong with his ideals and taught the world and helped the world, and people respected that. Now is a time to support Israel. Now is a time to support the Jewish people. Now is a time to be more and more Jewish. Let's study our Torah. Join us for more Torah study. The Talmud, the Kabbalah, the Torah is written in Torah. Celebrate Shabbat with us. Commit to bringing out your Jewish essence. This is what the world needs now. This is what our brothers and sisters in Israel need now. This is what you need now. This is what we need now. Shabbat Shalom.